Am I out? No. I am on. Oh, hi. You would think after all this time I would know when I'm broadcasting. but, but that's part of my charm. My lameness, my sometimes lameness is part of my charm. Today we are going to talk about how to help your students find health and happiness in every genre forever and ever. So several years ago, here's my story. I'm going to start with a story. Several years ago, a jazz singer and voice coach from Germany signed up for one of the very first, maybe even the very first Neuro-Vocal class for voice teachers that I ever taught. So she came in with a sort of a defensive attitude and basically told me that I wasn't going to show her anything she didn't already know. So it turned out that part of Darlene's issue, her name was Darlene, was based on her own training. She loved jazz. She had always loved jazz. She had listened to jazz greats on the record player when she was a little girl. When she was a teenager, her dad signed her up for voice lessons in her home state of Virginia because she loved to sing. And she thought, I love jazz. I'm going to be learning how to sing jazz. But that is not what happened. She went into the pipeline where her teachers along the way shared their beliefs that singing the music that she loved would be a waste of her time at best and would ruin her voice at worst. So in the end, and it took, I can't remember exactly what she told me, but I know it was well over a decade. She changed her voice and her singing, and she figured out some great stuff for teaching jazz to her students, and she enjoyed success in sharing both her singing and her teaching in jazz. So she was, like I am, a recovering classical singer. She came into my class with her guard up. Her guard was up, and I don't blame her one bit, not one tiny bit. So here's my confession about that story, though. So Darlene was in her sort of mid-late 40s when she took my class. And I, being a little bit out of it, I'm a little more not as out of it now, but back then I was pretty out of it in terms of like what goes on in academia. So she was in her mid-late 40s, and I thought that the reason she had had such a similar experience to me was that the voice training courses and the teachers that she had experienced were, old school. And nowadays people don't spread that kind of idea that classical singing is the only correct or the only healthy way to sing, right? Well, it turns out, and I think you may know this, I was wrong. I have since that time, I've had much younger voice professionals, teachers and coaches in my neurovocal classes, and they have told me very similar stories. So in a way, we independent voice teachers hope that we can undo some of this kind of damage, like preemptively even, right? By telling our students what we have learned about the different styles. We can affirm their love of whatever style speaks to them, right? We're not trying to make them feel bad like others, we may have been, like Darlene was. We can educate them about the music that they love, about music theater, rock, indie artist stuff, Christian worship stuff, metal, whatever, right? And we can help them develop their singing in whatever styles they love. And we can encourage their interest in different styles, and we can hope it sticks. But, even if we tell them, they could easily enter a voice program at a college or university later on, and that future teacher might tell your current student that you were wrong, that their high school teacher was wrong, and that Western classical is best, and it is rightest, and it is healthiest, and blah, blah, and your student will believe them, even if your student's heart lies elsewhere. So if this was you, let me hear it. But there is a way to help your students understand the genres. There is a way to help them create a mental picture that will create confidence and joy for them in their singing, health and happiness, confidence and joy, no matter what their future teacher tells them, because they'll be ready. Hi, Leanne. So I am Meredith Colby, the author of Money Notes, How to Sing High, Loud, Healthy, and Forever, which introduces Neuro-Vocal for popular styles, a way to teach for microphone-based genres that is based on brain science. I am a voice coach specializing in popular styles, and you can schedule directly with me from my website, meredithcolby.com. This month, I am offering my mini workshop, How to Teach High Rock Belts, if you want to audition me a little bit. People loved it before, so I'm doing it again. You can get the link to the information page on my site, and also if you're on my email list, you're going to get a really great discount coupon this week, discount code. And on my website, you can also get a discount code. So don't sign up without the code, y'all. All right, so if you want to get my freebie today, put happy in the comments and you'll get my no strings PDF. I mean, no strings attached. Like, you don't have to sign up for anything. You just get the download. It's a simple and easy little worksheet that you can do with your students. It's the sort of how of what oh, good. Leanne has put the trigger in. Let me know if that works for you, Leanne. It's the how of what I'm talking about today. So please take advantage of that. If you are watching on YouTube, you will find the link to that PDF in the comments below. So thanks for being here with me today or on the replay. Please feel free to contribute your comments or your questions during the broadcast or after. If you're watching on YouTube, you know the drill. Like, follow, all that. And Leanne, Dr. Faust tells me that it worked. Yay, good. Okay. Brains are funny. Our brains create concepts around all kinds of things, ideas, experiences, emotions, creations like, by the way, music. These concepts are not, as we tend to assume, concrete things about which we all share an understanding. Instead, they are highly individualized. You create concepts based on your exposure to them, based on a diverse set of instances that are unique to your experience and your perceptions, and that are tied to specific situations. So that's all fancy, but in the real world, that can mean that the way you think about something, so your own individualized concept of a thing, can influence how you experience it. Yes, I said that. Your concepts, but I mean, it's right? It makes sense. Your concepts of money or the color yellow are different than my concepts of money or the color yellow. And yet, you and I can have a perfectly normal, rational conversation about money or the color yellow and assume we're talking about the exact same thing. But we're not. We are not. Each of us has an individual concept that's based on a set of circumstances that are unique to each of us and that influences how we experience that thing. So that's the brains are funny thing. Which that didn't sound funny the way I said it, but it is kind of a brains are funny. So when we add new instances of a thing, our concepts around that thing change or can change. So for instance, I will tell you my story. I will tell you a little bit of weirdness about me. For no particular reason, I had a fear of scorpions. Now, I live in Chicago, which is a city notoriously free of scorpions. We do not have a scorpion problem in Chicago, but still. But why let that interfere with a good phobia? I was still afraid of them until I had the opportunity several years back to visit Costa Rica, where a naturalist said to me, we were talking about scorpions, and I went, ugh, and he said, they are just one of God's creatures. They are doing what they are here to do. And I was like, that one sentence messed up my concept of scorpions. So since that time, I've never looked at them in the same way again. I'm still not going to have one for a pet, but they don't freak me out anymore, right? I'm sure that you have stories about some comment or something that happened in your life that changed a concept that you had. Now, brains don't particularly like to change, and yet they constantly do. You have the power to change the brains of your clients. Change the brains of your clients, but in a really positive way. So, somebody gave me a heart for that. Thank you for the heart. So here's the fun part that we can explore as voice teachers and coaches. You can permanently mess up your students' concepts of different musical styles by teaching them how to think about musical styles. Not what to think, no, but how to think. And that way, no future voice teacher can get in there and mess it up. So rather than assuming your student's concept of a style matches yours, or anyone else's for that matter, you can parse out the concept. You can unpack the component parts of that concept. So that is what my free download is today. So again, if you, the download sort of guides you through this process. Once you've done it a couple of times, you won't need my download anymore. So just put happy in the comments or find it in the link below. And you, if you're watching on YouTube, and the Neuro-Vocal bot will send you that link to download that. So, okay, so here's what you do. Do I have that? Whoop, wrong. Yeah. Okay, whatever. I don't know what I'm doing. You can tell. I'm just clicking things. Okay, here's what you do. So you pick a style of music that they love. Let's say it's indie rock, okay? Your student loves indie rock. And then you pull out the thing that you would like to work on with them. So you've been doing your indie rock stuff, and now they want to be in a contest, or they want to get a solo, right, in their choir. So now you're going to pull out a music theater piece with them that they have not worked on before. And you say, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to compare and contrast. We're going to parse out the different components that make up the total concept. And then, and you, the voice professional, you do that with respect for both styles of music. So you're not saying one is better than the other. You're just saying, hey, let's take a look at this. What is its history? What is the history of this music? Indie rock and music theater have very different backgrounds. You can talk about that. You can talk about, like, okay, where is it performed? What's the performance venue and vibe of a music theater show as opposed to an indie rock artist? Oh, an indie rock artist can have different kinds of venues. Well, let's talk about that. You can say, hey, is this an amplified? They're both amplified, right? So we're gonna learn the different kinds of microphones, and the singer uses the microphone in a different way. What is the function of that amplification, and how does the singer use that amplification, right? You can talk about who's in charge. Who's the decision maker here, right? An indie rock musician has complete agency over both the creation and the performance of their music. A musical, right, is a story that's being told over the course of, it's a long form story, 2 hours or whatever. And the composer and the director are the decision makers. So then you can talk to the student about, you don't have complete agency, but how can you bring your creativity and your creative choices to this character and this presentation? So these are all things that you can sort of unpack with your student, saying, here's this and here's that. Neither one is better than the other, but they are different, and let's look at that. Let's look at the ways in which they're different. You can see where I'm going with this, right? Some other compare and contrast questions could involve, like, audience expectations and behavior, the function of the singer, the types of venues where people hear the music, what are the inherent values of the music, and any other things that you can sort of parse out, right? You can think that might make a difference in creating a concept of a type of music. So the free PDF download today will happily guide you through that process. If you put, do I have it? Yeah? Put the word happy in the comments and you'll get that download. So this process may take you all of 30 minutes, right? Maybe 30 minutes. When you introduce the student to the new song. And that might be a whole lesson, but if you make that investment, you can actually not just help the student create a more personal version of this song or have a better attitude about this process with you, but you can literally change music for them for their whole lives their whole entire lives. Can you imagine? Okay, if you want to explore ways to make sounds for popular styles based on concepts from neuroscience, you can join me. You can either take my class, as Dr. Leanne Faust did, who is here with me right now, or you can join me for my mini workshop this month. It is how to teach high rock belts, and it's only an hour, and it's going to be fun. So I am Meredith Colby. Thanks for being here with me today, and have a great week.